Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And today we are continuing with a very fun sew-along that we started a week or two ago, and it is the Kimberbell Star Spangled Beauty Ladder Quilt. So this is a really fun quilting project that is done completely in the hoop in your embroidery machine to make all of the blocks. And then we'll use our sewing machine at the end to piece all those blocks together. So today is day 4, or not day 4, class 4. And we are going to be focusing on 2 blocks, and that is the blue petal block, which is here. You can see it. And then we'll also be focusing on the Let Freedom Ring block down there at the bottom. So those are the 2 that we are working on. So let me check the chat real quick. Hi, Dee and Trish and Linda. Good morning. I hope y'all are all doing good. If we have any new people join us today, to give you some information, I am going to be going live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday until the end of May, until we finish this quilt. And with the exception of this Friday. This Friday, we're not going to have a sew-along class because I'm having my normal sip and stitch class. But what I wanted to show you is on my website, there is a page dedicated to this sew-along, and it should be the first link you see under this video. And that is going to give you all of the information on this sew-along. Including our live schedule. Now, by no means do you need to have things done as I do them. This is for me to keep me accountable, but also for you to watch if you are available and would like to participate live. But the good news is that you will be able to come back and watch the replays of all of these classes whenever you want. And I keep saying this and forgetting. I need to go put the replays of the last other 3 classes below this one. So this is class number 1, and then I'll have all the other classes below this. I need to make myself a note. Below that, we have gathered all the supplies, everything I'm using for this project, including the designs themselves, the background quilting, the fabric. We'll get into embellishments at the end, but links to everything that I'm using is here on this home page. I'm using my Brother Stellaire XJ2, but this project can be made on any machine that has at least a 5x7 hoop. And we're going to go into details for how to customize certain designs so that they fit. This is the thread kit, or all the thread colors that we'll be using for this design, and you can convert these to the thread brands that you have at home. And then lastly, there's a free download where you can get my organizational chart specific for this project emailed directly to you. So that is my little intro and everything I wanted to tell y'all. I'm writing myself a note right now, add videos, because I am that person that if I don't write it down, it won't happen. To sew along. Okay, got myself a big Post-it note on my table, so don't forget that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. If you see any new people jump in, just let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to refer them to our first video. But we had a video, our first class went over like everything you needed to know about this project and how to prep for it to set yourself up for success. Oh, I forgot. I should tell y'all about this. Okay, so I am participating in my first online summit, which I'm very excited about. And if you've never done an online summit before, what it is usually a group of people with a common interest teaching and having little free things. This conference, I was originally contacted by my friend Dawn at Creative Appliques, and also Suki Sews, who's a sewing influencer and ambassador for Bernina. They contacted me, told me about this summit, and asked if I would mind making a class. So I did. I made a class on how to make a bag tag, and I don't know where my bag tag is right now. It's somewhere, but it came out super cute, and it's a class on how to like make a basic one and then how to make one with confetti shaker clear vinyl. And that's a free download for y'all. So let's see. I have a picture. All right, so oh, there's a picture of the bag tag, so you can see that. But the summit is called the Machine Embroidery Paradise Summit, and I posted on Facebook yesterday, and I think I put a link right below the Sew Along homepage in the description. There's a link to register for the summit. Now, it is completely free. Oops, who's calling me? My mom can't answer. Okay, sorry. It's completely free, and but it's for like a limited time that you get to watch things. So I think it opens. They're doing like some kind of kickoff thing next Thursday, April 30th. But Friday, May 1st, they have like, I want to say like 6 classes that are going to be available to watch for 24 hours. Okay. And some of my sewing friends like Lisa Shaw and Dawn from Creative Appliques, a girl that I follow on Instagram that I'm excited. What is her name? Oh, now I'm going to lose it completely. But she's a quilter and she does machine embroidery too. She's teaching a class. She's really fun. And then my friend Alexis Galloway, who's a brother educator, is teaching a class. So they'll have a list of classes for you to watch on Friday. You'll have a 24-hour period to watch them, but they're all like pre-recorded. They're not live. So you can watch them when you get off of work. You can watch them in the morning, whenever. But you only have that one time frame. And then Saturday, May 2nd, you'll have a new set of classes. That's the day that my class is going to be shown. 6 or 7 classes on Saturday. Then on Sunday, they're going to give you a replay day so that if you miss something on Friday or Saturday, you can go watch it on Sunday. And then that's it. You cut off and you don't get to watch any more of the classes. But however, of course, they have like a VIP package where you can purchase that and you will get all the classes, instant access, lifetime, watch them whenever you want. And they have like they have a goodie bag for free for attendees that just get the free ticket. And then they have an even better goodie bag for people that get the VIP ticket. So that's what a summit is like. If you've never been to one before, the free ticket, usually you can only watch the classes for like a 24-hour period. The VIP ticket, you can watch them whenever you want, and you usually get more things. So I have a link down below this video to register for that if you're interested. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They look like they had some really good classes on there. A note about the registration. Several people have emailed me. When you go to the registration page and let's do it together. So I can show you what I mean. But if you have a pop-up blocker, this is not what I wanted. If you have a pop-up blocker on your computer with your internet browser, that's the word I'm looking for, you are going to have trouble. And several people have emailed me saying they're having trouble. So let me show you what it's supposed to look like. Excuse me just a second. I'm getting my computer set up for you. And now I can close this and go over here. Okay, so this is what the registration page looks like when you click on it. And they have lots of buttons on here that say reserve my free access now. This is it. Chelsea Porter, that's the Instagrammer that I follow that I love. She's teaching a class. I'm excited. Then you see there's lots of buttons. Any of these buttons that you click, what's going to happen is a pop-up comes up, and that's how you register. So if you are clicking on this and nothing is happening, it's probably because you have a pop-up blocker. And for me, usually it's somewhere in the internet bar where you type in things. It's usually somewhere up here. I'll see like a box with the X or something. Click on that and it'll say allow pop-ups. But this is the page where you can register and get all the information. After you register, they'll give you more information about the VIP ticket if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so that is the summit. It's next week. The days of the summit are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that is for everyone to check out. And just let me know if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer the bits that I know about it, but the people organizing the summit, I can refer you to them if it's something that I don't know. Okay, I'm checking the chat. Oh yay, Blaine and Roger say hey from Stitch. I know we're at the same time. They're on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock too. Tell them I said hi too. I need to get together with Blaine and do some classes for him because I didn't get to participate in his March embroidery month thing. So I need to get in touch with him and see how he's doing. Okay, good morning, So Pearl Creations. I hope you're doing good. All right, now let's get started on today's blocks. So I have my cheat sheet. I have my envelopes for the 2 blocks we're making today, and that is Blue Petals and Let Freedom Ring. And in my envelopes, I have all the pieces of fabric for that block already cut, and this is all the stuff we went over in class number 1 on how to set this up, but I used the instructional fabric guide. If you're using the fabric kit, that it makes life a lot easier. If you're not using the fabric kit, just substitute whatever fabric you want for each one of these and still follow the cut guide. You're going to get the most use out of your fabric and get the most efficient cuts. And I stabilize or interface all of my fabric before cutting using Pellon SF101. So following this, I got all the pieces for my blue petal. Like, this is the background, and I think we have a piece that looks like this, and then these are little pieces for the flower. So all the applique pieces, everything is in this envelope, and they are interfaced on the back. So everything's there, including my batting. And again, this is explained in class number 1, but I cut my batting to the size of the finished block. And when I stitch it out, you'll see how it's just super easy. I stitch a placement stitch and I just set that in there, and I use some Elmer's School glue stick to keep it in place. So that is Blue Petals. We're going to do this one first, and then we'll do Let Freedom Ring. And then for stabilizer, I'm using lightweight cotton muslin. Kimberbell suggests using poly mesh, but this is what I like to use for all my quilting projects. It's going to save you a lot of money. Okay. All right. So with my cheat sheet, I can see that Blue Petals, this is the background quilting that I'm using. And then what's the other one we're doing? Let Freedom Ring. This is my background quilting. One is 6x8, one is 6x6. So the actual designs themselves fit in a 5x7 hoop, but the block is bigger. And what's happening behind the design is that background quilting. I'm going to hoop these to where I could stitch both the background quilting and the design at the same hooping, same everything. But if you are limited to a 5x7 hoop, you have 2 options. One, you're going to pre-quilt your background fabric ahead of time, and you're going to have to do it in multiple hoopings. Or don't even, just skip the background quilting altogether. Just stitch the pretty design in the middle of your fabric. Still cut your fabric big and figure out your placement so where that you stitch these designs right in the center of this big piece of fabric, if that makes sense. So I know we have our friend Wendy who's been following along with us. She's limited to a 5x7 hoop. So that's something else I wanted to put out there for Wendy. If all of this stresses you out too much, don't even quilt it. Just put the design right here and it'll fit in your 5x7 hoop. So that's another option for you. All right, so we're going to go to the computer now and open up Embroidery. So let's minimize that. And I don't have Embroidery open yet, but I could just click on one of these. Okay, so we're doing Blue Petals. So here's my background quilting. I need floral 14, this one. Okay, embroidery files, block by block, because we're doing it all in the hoop. Pick your format of choice, and I need 6 by 6 right here. So I'm gonna double click this. My computer already knows when I click on anything that's a PES file, it's gonna automatically open in Embrilliance. So there we go. Embrilliance is open. And I have like an 8 by 12 hoop here. So I need to change this to the hoop I'm using, which is going to be a 6 by 10. So what is that? 160 by 260, approximately 10 by 6. Apply. Okay. Oh, I rotated it. I didn't want to do that. Let me do this. Okay. So this is my background quilting. And because this block, the finished block is 6 inches, the background quilting bit is a 1/2 inch bigger on the going, vertical and horizontal. Now it's no big deal. It's 6.5 inches tall because I have a 10-inch hoop, but it is a big deal that it's 6.5 inches wide and I only have a 6-inch hoop. And it's actually a smidge bigger than 6 inches. So your options are to only manipulate this box, which is our basting stitch, or delete it all together. You don't have to have a basting stitch. It's not the end of the world if you don't have one. Okay. And this is something we've gone through with every class, but there are 4 steps that happen before the background quilting when you're doing it all in the hoop like this. And that's placement of your batting, tack down of your batting. I don't do this step because I don't think I cut my batting to fit in that box perfectly. I don't need to tack it down. This is placement of your fabric. I don't do this step either because I don't think it's necessary. And then basting stitch, tack down of your fabric. So I always delete steps 2 and 3. So I'm gonna hit delete on my keyboard. And now this is the only step that is giving me trouble because it's too big. So I could either delete this step 2 and not stitch it at all, or what I do is I'm going to get this little black box, get my arrows, and I'm going to scooch this guy in until it's right on the inside of my hoop. Still too big because this side. So I'm going to select just this guy. And as soon as that red highlighted box goes away, boom. Right here, I know that now it's fitting all in the hoop. Okay, so I have now made this background quilting design fit in my 6 by 10 hoop without actually altering anything. I didn't resize any of this. I only pushed in these 2 basting stitch lines. And now I need to add my blue petals on top. Well, let me go ahead and open, let's see, what's the other one? Let Freedom Ring, Floral 14. Same background quilting, but I need 6 by 8, this one. I'm gonna go ahead and open that while I have this screen open in my folders. Okay, now I'm gonna back up to the beginning of my folder. That's background quilting. These are the actual embroidery designs. Click on those, click on your format of choice. And now these are all the embroidery designs for the quilt. These all fit in a 5 by 7 hoop. So I need blue petals. I think that's vase. This one, blue petals. I'm going to drag and drop. And now I have merged this design on top of my background quilting. And then I'm going to go to this guy and let me move my hoop. I have the same problem with this one as I had the other one. It's a smidge too wide. So I'm going to do the same process. I personally delete steps 2 and 3. That is up to you. And I'm going to move this basting stitch a smidge in so that it fits. And now I will add Let Freedom Ring, this one, and I'm just going to drag and drop it. So that's it. I am completely done now with preparing my files to send to my machine. And if you are new here, you don't have to do all this. You can just go directly to your machine, stitch out the background quilting, then stitch out the flower. But that only works if you have a hoop that is big enough to fit everything in it. You can't delete a step on your machine because it won't even open this design. If you have a 6x10 machine like an NQ 1700 or 3550 or anything similar, where your biggest hoop is 6x10, it won't even let you open this design on your machine so that you can delete that one step that's too big. That's when you need software in order to do it. But if you have a Stellaire like I do, I could have just gone straight to my machine, used my 9.5 by 9.5 hoop, and stitched both of these out on the machine, no software required. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that. Okay, so I am done. I have my background quilting set up and then my design on top, and I can look at this ahead of time. There's an applique bit, applique, 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 lots of applique, more applique. And then after all those appliques are done, it's going to go do all the satin stitching around them. So this design's probably going to take a while because it's a lot of satin stitching happening. Ooh, I like that frame. That's pretty. Okay, I'm going to save this to my USB stick by going to Save Stitch File As. And then it's going to ask me where I want to save it. I have a USB stick that I renamed Embroidery. And to rename it, I just right-click it. Let's see. Oh, I can't do it while I'm in here. But when you're in your regular files and folders here, you can right-click it and you can rename it. So if you want to name your USB stick, that's how you do it. And I'm naming this one Blue Petals. And I have a folder in this stick that is specifically for this sew along, Star Spangled Beauty. Petals, have the format of choice, save. All right, and now this one is all ready to go. This one should be rather straightforward. There's only one piece of applique and then all the decorative stitching on top. Super cute. And file, save, stitch file as, same place, my embroidery, USB, my folder, and then let freedom ring. Save it as your format that matches your machine, save. So that is done. And now I just have to eject this USB stick from my computer so that I can remove it safely. So little eject button. If you're on a window, I think there's a button down here that that allows you to safely eject your USB stick from your computer. All right, any questions about Embrilliance? And if you're using software to manipulate your designs or merge them ahead of time. Thank you. Hey, Miss Joy, how are you? Let's see. I'm checking the chat real quick. Oh, cool. Okay, so Trish says, this is a great question. Let me put this up. I have such a hard time figuring out which hoop is what in millimeters. So I changed the names to the sizes. I know. Okay, so it wasn't a question. She's telling us what she did. Let me show you what she's talking about. I've done this before, and then I think I reinstalled Embrilliance, so it lost my changes I made. Okay, let's do this right now. So this is 160 by 260. Have that selected. Go to Edit. This is the name of that hoop. I can now make it 6 by 10 and hit OK. All right, this is my 130 by 180. That's 5 by 7. Edit. 5 by 7. Okay, and you can do that for all of your most used hoops so that they stand out. You know that's the one you always use. Great, great suggestion. Okay. All right, So everybody's just saying hi in the chat. Yay. Okay. So now let's get our hoop and everything ready. I'm going to use 6 by 10 for both of these today. So here is that hoop. Let's see. I need to move this. So there we go. That's better. And this, take my inner hoop out. This is my stabilizer. Okay. Okay. And just hoop your stabilizer. And one thing I did not look at is the red colors. So let's look at a close-up picture of the blue petals so I can see. Here we go. So I need navy. That's by my machine already. And then I need cream, the light blue, and the mint. I have a little mint and a newer mint. I think that's it. Oh wait, this is mint, and I think this is this color, the darker one. Okay, so your cream, your light blue, your mint, and your more teal color is what we're going to need for this block. And then Let Freedom Ring looks like I need navy and this red. Let's see, the red they have is the one with the black line through it. Oops. And that's cranberry. So that's actually my more maroon color. Where they have raspberry, that's what I'm using, a more red color. And they have pink. And they have blue. So I'll put all these on the side. These are going to be for the second block. And then I got my water soluble for my basting stitch. Okay, so I'm going to bring all of those to my machine and my hoop. And I got to get my USB stick. Okay. Okay, my machine is calibrating and I need to put the USB stick. Oh, and I have an idea, something I'm gonna do to save stabilizer. I got it. I just have to remember to do it because I never do this. Okay, blue petals. Okay. Set. No, it shouldn't be a problem. I'm hesitant because I've been having trouble with my machine where something is happening and it's getting off alignment. And so I've had to turn my machine off and on and let this realign. My idea right now is to move. This design is a square and it is going to stitch right in the middle of this. So all of this stabilizer up here kind of goes to waste. So what I'm thinking is to move the design all the way to the top of the hoop so it stitches here. But even if something goes wrong and I have to turn my machine off and on, all I'm doing is moving my design back to the top again. All right, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Load that. Okay, and then I hit embroider. And then I hit layout, move. And now I get my arrows. And that's it knows I have a 6 by 10 hoop in because my machine knows what hoop I have once I slide it in. So it knows that this design going all the way, this is the highest this design could go. And if I wanted to be extra careful, or if your machine doesn't know what hoop you have, you can do this trace feature. And it's like a box with a dashed line going around and an arrow. And this is going to show me right where my machine's going to stitch. I can also see if at any point my hoop or my embroidery arm touches something, because this is the outermost area. Okay, good. Happy. Take the layout off. Okay, so we are ready to stitch. And the first stitch is the placement for your batting. And it doesn't matter what color you stitch this in. I had navy blue already in, so that's what I'm doing. And while that's stitching, I'm going to put my water soluble thread next, because I'm going to use that for the second step. All right, so that is where the batting goes. So I'm going to take this back to my table so I have a nice flat surface to work on. And I get my envelope. I done piled things on it. Okay, there's my batting. And I just take everything out now. The blue stars is the background quilting. I'm going to need that next. So first, add some kind of adhesive so that your batting will stay in place. Okay, there's that. And now I'm just going to lay my background fabric right on top of my batting. And you could see it's really easy just to put it right on top. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. You have a lot of room if you cut your fabric as the fabric guide suggested. Okay. Now we go back to the machine and I load my water soluble thread. This is for the basting stitch that I will remove later. And if you don't have water soluble thread, you can use any thread and you'll just use a seam ripper to get it out when you're done. The water soluble only needs to go in the top thread. It doesn't need to go in the bobbin. And you'll see when we're done with this block how, wait, I need to thread my needle. I always forget this. Thread. There we go. You'll see how easy it is just to wet it and it dissolves and you pull the bobbin thread out. Okay, step after this is the actual background quilting. And I'm going to refer to my cheat sheet. And I have doing this in cream color. So I'm going to get my cream thread ready. Okay. So load my cream thread. And now this is going to do that pretty floral background quilting. Oops, sorry. And that can go. And now I'm going to look at my book and really get my stuff in order as far as thread colors and applique fabric for this flower. And any questions that I missed? See, in Brilliance, let me back up and see. Oh, Joanna's saying that she changed all the names of her hoops and in Brilliance as well. Hi, Marnie from Ohio. Nice to see you. Let's see. Elsa's here. Hi, Elsa. Ooh, Trisha's making a golf themed quilt from a Villa Rosa pattern. Fun. I want to see it when you're done. All right, so this is my book. And this has step-by-step on every block. Okay, so the first step is the frame placement line. And that's my cream fabric. Okay, so my first piece of applique is going to be my big piece of cream fabric. I could do placement and tack down can be done with any colors. All of this looks like it's getting covered up in a satin stitch. Yeah, so we can use the same color thread for all of the placement and tack down stitches. So I could just leave cream on for that whole time. So the first applique is the big white frame. Okay, got that. The second piece of applique is this shade of blue, which there's some kind of thread in there. I'm mad at myself for not noticing that, but do y'all see when I ironed the interfacing on the back, there was a thread in between the two, and I never got it out in time, but it's okay. Then, so it's light blue, navy, then mint, then the more turquoise teal color. Okay, so I got my order of my applique fabrics on my table over here. And I can now look at thread colors. Okay, the first satin outline is the darker teal color. So this will be my next actual color. I could also do all my placement and tack down steps with this color if I wanted to. Okay, so it's teal, then mint, then light blue, then cream, and then navy last. Okay, so I got all my colors lined up down here. I'm going to just leave my book open. All right, we're almost done. Really, really pretty. It's a shame, though, because most of it's going to get covered up with this white piece of fabric. Yes. So Pearl Creations, that's the book that comes with the design. So if you purchase the physical, whatchamacall, the physical designs, let's go to here. All right, let's scroll. Let me get to the part where the, here you go. So here's the digital. So when you get the digital one, there are two options. There's a digital one and a physical one. The digital one you will get instantly, and it will be in your account on Kimberbell to go and download. And in there is a PDF of everything that is in that book I was holding you. If you get the physical one shipped to you, they literally, well, it says right here, they just ship you the book. And inside the book, there used to be a CD with all the designs to download. Now they've switched to this redemption code thing. So you peel this and you'll get a code, and you go back to Kimberbell, put in your code, and then you download all the designs. But then you get the physical book to have if you would like it. All right, done with the background quilting. Now I'm going to stitch the placement for the big piece of applique. Yep, and most of the quilting is getting covered up. I'm glad the other block we're doing has the same. There'll be more blocks with this quilting, but it's like just little tiny pieces are poking on the side. Okay. There's really no point at quilting this block, to be perfectly honest, because all you're seeing is a little sliver of the blue stars. You really don't even need to quilt it. Okay, I'm covering up my placement stitch with that, and then now it's a tack down stitch. And I'm gonna let this tack down. Let me get my thing so I'm not putting my fingers in there. Oops, something's not happy. I had some jump stitches. Let me cut. Even though this is not important, I've been having issues. And yeah, so look at this. You see that right there? It does this and then it like jumped. Now I wonder if that made the alignment go off. And I don't even know what caused it, unless it just got unhappy with it the way it undid from the spool. I just cleaned all this out yesterday. Ah, there's a thread. There's a thread in there. That's why. Okay. That should have solved the problem. Now I need to check if the alignment's off because of that. I think it might be finally time to get my machine serviced. I keep saying I'll do it one day, but I don't want to live without my machine for 2 weeks. So I need somebody to come to my house and do it. Let me back up. Let me back up 20 stitches. Let me put my needle down. It is, I can't tell if it's a smidge below or right on. Might be right on. Okay, let's try. It's a smidge below. That's not bad. Why are you mad? Now it's telling me to rethread. I'm gonna cut it again. Let me rethread my top needle too, just to be safe. And I'll rethread the bobbin again. But this, I backed it up to this corner and it looks like it was going right on it, maybe even just like the width of the needle below it. So I don't think that's enough to be worried about the alignment, but if I was, I would do the whole thing where I turned my machine off, turn it back on, and in this case, I would need to move my design all the way back to the top again. Or if I don't mess with my particular machine, I could turn it off, back on, and it pulls up everything just how it was before. I'm going to rethread the top too, just to be safe. And maybe this is the problem. It's coming. My thread stand is a little twisted. Shouldn't be the problem, but maybe it is. Okay, thread the needle. Everybody should be happy now. Okay, still going to back up 10 stitches. And continuing. And this is the tack down, so it's going to go around twice. Okay. So another thing that the Pelon helps with these fabrics, even if I'm using this as applique, is because I have that interfacing on the back, I can't really see the dark blue star pattern poking through this cream light fabric. So Pelon helps with that. All right, now normally with each piece of applique, we have to take it off the machine, go trim it, and put it back on. But watch, I'm going to be able to do, like, I don't need to go trim it right now. I'm going to stitch the placement stitch of what is going to be the light blue flower. And then I probably got to take it off before I can move on to the next piece of applique. If one piece of applique is like totally not interfering with the other one, like you have to trim it in order for it to look right, then just keep doing placement and tack down stitches until it gets in your way. And then you can just take off your hoop at one time and do all your trimming. Okay, so there's my blue flower. Okay. And then next is the center of the flower. That doesn't interfere. I could put that there too. So look, center of the flower. It's the leaves that I need to trim this bit before the leaves can stitch. Okay, so that was the placement for the center. And this is your dark blue piece of fabric. Put that there. Stitch that down. Okay, now I'm going to take it off and trim it. And then we probably can do both leaves at the same time because they're on the opposite ends of the thing. So see where we are. And get your favorite applique scissors. And I'm going to start and work my way from the top to the bottom. So I'll do this one first. And all of this is getting covered in satin stitching. So I'm just going to try and cut as close to that stitch line as I can, a tack down stitch. Okay. I got some fuzzies. I'm going to get that after. Okay. Now I can trim the flower. Okay, just trimming around that. And then the last bit is this frame. Okay, and if you have like a lot of fuzzies or things happening, that's when it's helpful to have like a little lint roller. And you could pull all those up so those don't get trapped in your satin stitching and like poking out through the side. Okay, so we can go back to the machine. And there's two more pieces of applique, and they're both like far apart from each other, so we should be able to do both. All right, the first is what's going to be the mint leaves is up here. And you see what I mean? If I would have not trimmed that blue fabric, that would have caught some of that blue fabric. Okay, and I can lay that mint fabric right on top. All right, and now that that's done, the next is some leaves down here, and this is not in the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and go straight to stitching. Oh, it is almost in the way. Let me lift that guy up. Okay. I could trim that little corner there, but it's like just made it to where it's not in the way. So that is our placement. I'll wait till it stops, but I'll just trim that little corner there. Okay, so I'm going to trim this little corner. These scissors do not cut fabric anymore, so I just use them for thread. I got my placement for my other two leaves. This is like your more tealy fabric. And then this is the last piece of applique. You can lay that down and now tack it down. Hey, Lisa. Oh, so, yeah, so it's just the newest ones that don't have a CD. And if you don't have a CD reader on your computer, you can buy an external one from Amazon for like 15 bucks. So if there is like an older project that you want to do that, and you're not doing it because it only comes in a CD, don't let that deter you, because you can get a cheap one for, not a lot of money at all. Okay, now I can take this off. There's a little loopy thing here, but I can go trim those two leaves. And then now it's just going to be stitching all the satin stitches after that. So then I can go back and check the chat and see what I missed. So you're just going to trim these out close as you can to that stitch line. And then normally, depending on the project, I typically put Heat and Bond Light on the back of my fabric. This is where I would use my mini iron and iron this in place after I've trimmed it. But I have found that is not necessary for these Kimberbell quilting projects. In the sip and stitch, I'm going to do on Friday. So we're not going to have a sew along class on Friday. Instead, we're going to have my monthly sip and stitch tutorial that I do on my YouTube channel and my Facebook group, Facebook page for free. Every month we do one project start to finish. So unlike this one that is going to take us 2 months to finish, sip and stitch you'll be done in 2 hours. And on that one, we'll do an applique where I'll use heat and bond light on the back so you could see that in action on Friday. Okay. And the first color we need is the teal. So I'm loading the teal thread, and it's going to do the satin outline on those bigger leaves. And go. So we still have about 20 minutes of stitching, just changing threads and stitching. I'm going to get that tail. That didn't go. Okay. So I'm going to be brave and stand away from my machine so I could see the computer and the chat. But my machine has been acting up, so I'm a little wary to stay. I'm going to be listening the whole time. All right. So another thing, Lisa, I'm glad you heard me talk about the water soluble thread. Yeah, because that makes a huge, I hate using the seam ripper. That makes a big difference. It helps a lot. Okay, let's see. I missed something. All right. Yay, I'm glad, Linda. So she says she likes how I tell the whys and what you do in helping us understand the procedure. I'm glad it helps you. Let's see. Y'all are talking about my girlfriend's quilt shop, the app where they do the sale. Yeah, that I spend way too much money when I watch that sale. So I stopped watching it. So Kathy, you are in the chat. So thanks for being here. Whenever you are watching my video and I'm actually live, like I am right now, there's always a little chat going on the side. So I can see your comments as I'm stitching. And that is awesome. She got the Solaris 2, which is an amazing machine. But she's saying she's not familiar with Brother. So the cool thing about Brother and Baby Lock is they are super duper similar. I'm not going to say 100%, but very close. They their interface looks very much the same. All the operations on the machine, the buttons, everything is the same. So your machine is a step up from mine. Mine is more similar to the Baby Lock Altair, and the Solaris is a step up from the Altair. And then I think the Radiance is the biggest one you can get. So you have some features that I don't, like the camera and the projection, I think. But other than that, just operating the machine is very, very similar. So things you see me do on this machine, you will be able to do on yours, no problem. You also have some bigger hoops than I do. So if you did want to participate in this sew along and stitch out this quilt, you would have no problem with just using, not even needing embroidery software, and just going to your machine and stitching out each of the blocks. Yay, Roberta, I'm so glad you're enjoying this project. All right, so we are done with the teal, and next is the mint, and I'm gonna use my spool that is significantly less, but I think I definitely got more than enough to do this satin stitching. Okay, and the thread threaded, and we can hit stitch. And now it's going to do the satin outline on those. And then I'm going to get the next color ready is the light blue. And then the cream is after that. So I'm done with these colors. Cream is next. And then after that is navy blue. All right, so I got 4 color changes left. Everything's looking good. Oh, Lisa. I need you, man. It's probably too far. And Gabriel? I'm trying to think of where that is. You're going to email it to me. Okay, thank you. $200 comes to your house. Yes. Maybe I could get him the service. Just go ahead and do all my machines while he's here. Yeah, per machine. I am going to spend $8,000 a day that he comes here. It's not going to be good. All right. But I think this is the machine I use the most. So I definitely think this one needs to be serviced. I might also, I have a Ricoma and I don't use it. I don't use it no more. And I'm thinking about selling it. So I might get it serviced and then sell it. So that might be what I do to make sure it's all good and everything. So maybe I'll just spend $400 that day and not $1,000. Okay, done with the mint. Switching to light blue. Make sure that's going good. Okay, and go. And now we're doing the satin stitch around the little blue flower. And I noticed there is a jump stitch between the 2 mint leaves. I guess because they were so close. So I can just trim that jump stitch when it's all said and done. Let's see. Trish wants to know, why am I not using my Ricoma? I don't have a really good reason. I moved it a while back. I was teaching classes on my brother. I only have so much room in this room for machines. And I only have room for 2 free arm machines or multi-needle machines. And I have the PR1X across from me. And then I had the Ricoma on the side here. And then I was teaching a bunch of classes for my brother's 6 needle. And so I switched them. And so the Ricoma's in the playroom and it can be set up and used. It's just sitting against the wall, can just be plugged in and ready to go. Problem is my cat likes to go play on it and pull all the threads out. So right now I cut all the threads. It's still threaded, but like just a piece sticking at the top so that I can tie off a spool and put it on there. So since that has happened, then I'm like, I don't have time to thread it. I'm go to my other machines. The machine I use the most for for all these sew alongs and when I just have something to do for myself, I'm using the Stellaire. Unless it's a clothing item, then I'm using one of the brother free arm machines. Sometimes I prefer using the PR1X over the 6 needle because I might have all kinds of thread colors, or I'd have to change all the thread colors that are currently on it. And then I'm like, it's just easier for me to do it on the PR1X so that I just get started. So it's me. I don't know. But I haven't used it in a while. and I haven't had people ask for tutorials on it. So I've kind of taken it out the rotation for my sip and stitch. For sip and stitch, I typically rotate my machines. I use a different one for each class. So the class that's this Friday is going to be the Brother 6 needle. So that's why I'm thinking I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not even teaching with it anymore. And I've been bugging my husband that I want a laser cutter that I don't need, but I want. And he's like, well, if you sell that big machine, you can get a laser cutter. So that's what's pumping me towards doing it. But other than that, there's no reason. And then the whole reason for not teaching on it is Ricoma doesn't even sell that machine anymore. They have a newer version. And so then if I teach on it, it's not applicable to anyone that got a newer machine because the whole interface is different. So that's another thing too. Okay, yeah, you're making me feel better. She's like, sell it fast, get that laser. That's my wheels are turning. I really want a laser cutter. And then the other day I was looking at a 3D printer, something else I really don't need. I was like, oh, that's cool. There's all kinds of things we can make with a 3D printer. And I get distracted very easily. All right, we are done stitching the blue petal. And now is the cream outline. Yeah, my friend actually came over this weekend. We had a crawfish ball for all of Chris's old friends that he went to school with, that we hadn't hung out with in a long time. And one of the wife of one of the friends, she bought a Ricoma back when not long after I got my Ricoma. And I asked her when she came over the other day, I'm like, you want another one? Yeah, I was like, don't you need 2 of them? Aren't you making all kind of stuff? She's like, no. She doesn't have a shop or anything. She just makes things for herself. But if she had a shop, it would have been useful. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Trish says if I have 2 other free arm machines, it makes sense to sell it. Ricoma had I've worked with Ricoma like years ago and became an ambassador for them. But then I kind of lost contact. Like they don't contact me no more about wanting to do classes or anything like that. And I think it's because they know I have the old machine. And it's, if anyone, if showing people how to use it and then someone wants to go to buy it and they don't even sell it anymore. Okay, so if anyone, let's go ahead and just say it. If anyone in the southern Louisiana area is interested in a 10 needle Ricoma embroidery machine, reach out. And that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'll start looking at lasers more. The problem with the laser is I'm probably going to end up keeping it in the garage or my shed in the backyard, which my husband is already mad about me trying to take over. So I can't keep it in my craft room because it needs to be vented and all that kinds of stuff. So that's more like a garage machine. Okay. All right. So what do y'all want to talk about now that we have 10 more minutes left of just stitching this block? I need something to talk about. Oh, let me show you what we're doing on Friday. So Sip and Stitch this Friday on YouTube is going to be how to applique a mama sweatshirt. And I'm using my 6 needle machine and my mighty hoops to do this. So if you want to see all those things in action or you have those things and you're would like to see someone else using them because they scare you, you can come see me on Friday. And the really pretty thing about this applique, and let me show you, is, do you see the pretty lace detail that happens on it? Isn't that super cute? So this is a font from my friend Dawn at Creative Appliques, and she gave me a coupon code, and I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it's on the Sip and Stitch homepage. So if you go to my website and go to, let's see, I'll put it on the bottom, carlybell.com/sip in stitch. That gives you all the info on this project, including the link for this design and the coupon code, if you would like to get this. So you can use the font to spell anything that you would like and put a name, whatever. You can do whatever colors you do the lace in one color and the satin stitch in a different color. You can fill all the letters with the same fabric, or you can fill each individual letter with a different fabric. So we're going to be going over this on Friday, and I'm going to show you how I use my Mighty Hoops. I have a Mighty Hoop, what you call hooping station, that makes life a lot easier when it comes to hooping, but you don't need it, but it is very nice to have. And then the 6-needle brother on stitching of this out makes it super easy. And I think this makes a cute Mother's Day present. And what we're going to do on Friday on my sample one, like I just wanted to stitch to go through the process and have one to show y'all. I just used some of my pretty fabric that I already had. But on the one we're going to do on Friday, I am going to use one of the girls' old baby gowns. And I'm going to use that fabric to fill in the applique of Mama. You could do this also for a grandmother, for an aunt, spell, like my parents have all different names. We have Papa, we have Nani, we have Mimi, we have Mama. You could spell whatever they call themselves, or the kids call them. We have Nanny. So you can do that. And then you can fill it with special fabric that is actually from the kids when they were babies, baby blankets, baby onesies, all those things. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to do that on Friday. And I'll show you step by step everything, setting it up in Embroidery and hooping and applique, using heat and bond, all those things. Yeah, it's really nice for a keepsake, definitely. So I have a bucket in a closet somewhere of all of some things that I've been saving for the kids, from the kids when they were babies. And I'm gonna go grab one of those baby gowns and use that. And if I had like a bunch of onesies, I could cut up the onesie and use a different fabric for each letter. So I have to go see what I have because I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet. But I was saving that to do live on Friday so y'all could see it in action. Oh, Joanna was asking, what do I want to sell? My Ricoma. I think my Ricoma 10 needle. I have too many machines. And yeah, I don't use it anymore. Let's see. Okay, so that was the thing I thought about. I told y'all about the summit next week. What else we need to talk about? If you are in my VIP membership group, we're going to have our April Zoom class on next Tuesday, which is on my job list today, is to get everything ready for that. But it's still all in my head, so I got to put it on the computer and make it so that everyone else could see. But I want to make some sort of keepsake pillow that I'm going to create a design where it could be either like for a baby with all the info on a baby after they're born, like their name, the date they were birthed, how many ounces, how long they were, and then any other little fun facts you want to put on it. But my original thought was, I've seen pillows like this before where it looks like it's almost like longitude and latitude written numbers, but it's actually birthdays. So like I have 4 people in my house, 4 people in my immediate family. And I was thinking of doing the birthdays like 05.05.83. That's my birthday. And then something else I think is on the end, but I can't remember. And do that. And that gets stitched on a piece of fabric that we can either turn into a pillow or on a pre-made pillow cover. Like the Kimberbell ones are nice because you can sew them up when you're done. Okay, we are in the home stretch. We have about 5 minutes of stitching left, and they're all in this navy blue thread. And that involves the outline of the middle and then some decorative things around. Okay, so I'll let it do its thing. So yeah, that's, if you are a VIP member, be on the lookout. Probably on Thursday, I'll post all the info for that. But the Zoom class itself is next Tuesday. And no really special supplies needed because you could just stitch this out on a piece of fabric and turn it into a pillow using your sewing machine. But if you like the idea of using a pre-made pillow cover, you can order them from Kimberbell or from Amazon. Hi, Yvonne. Hope you're doing good. Okay, so even though all the last 3 steps of this design are navy blue, it is actually separated in 3 stops on your machine. So it did not merge them together, even though they're the same color. So I will have to come back and start it again when it's done, each of those sections. Okay, so that was number 2 of 3. And so now the last one is the frame. So lower and go. And that's the last step of this design. So I'm going to let that stitch out. And we pretty much have everything ready for the next one. All we're going to do here is unhoop this, slide it down, and rehoop it so that we can stitch the Let Freedom ring right here. And then hopefully Let Freedom ring won't take as long. I knew this one was going to take longer because there was a lot of satin stitches. Yeah, I love the navy too, Linda. I think it really pops. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. I think my microphone is dying, so I'm going to change out the batteries real quick. So if you don't hear anything, that's why. Okay, I am back. I figured they were going to go out this class because yesterday I had a 3-hour class. And I figured that would probably drain them a lot. But this time I actually caught it. It does blink but it's crazy because it might blink for like an hour before it actually needs a battery change. But I actually saw it blinking for once, which I never do. I'm always looking at my machine or at the computer. And so I figured I'd go ahead and change them. Oh, Wendy said, I forgot my birthday is the day after yours. I would like to do one of those reading pillows in one of our Zoom classes. Yes, a reading pillow is something as well. It would be kind of the same process with just a different design. And we could construct the pillow a little bit different. But yes, that's a great idea. Well, happy birthday to you early. And I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm going to Jazz Fest on May 1st. And my birthday is May 5th. So that's this be me celebrating my birthday early at Jazz Fest, which is what I typically like to do. And it's kind of a little tradition with my cousin because her birthday is May 3rd. There's been lots of years where we've gone to Jazz Fest together because it always falls on our birthday weekend. And it's been a couple years since we have done that together. So I'm excited we're doing it together this year again. But my birthday does fall on a Tuesday, specifically Taco Tuesday. So that's going to be fun too. So we may have a little party at the house and invite everyone over for dinner. All right, almost done. Okay, Joanna wants to do a reading pillow too. Okay, I'm going to add that to my list then. Let me see. I think we have everything planned out for the rest of the year, but let me look at it. So I could really remember. Okay. So Sip and Stitch. I don't have November and December planned because I usually wait to see like what's really trendy around Christmas time for presents and stuff, but the reading pillow might be perfect. So I will write that down as an idea. The problem is it's going to be a long class. And then the VIP membership, we're doing the pillow this month. The June class, I'm kind of unsure about. Maybe we can do something different for the June class. But yeah, I got it down on my list, whether we do it in the YouTube Sip and Stitch or the VIP membership. I just don't know yet. But there we go. We're all done with the blue petals. And we can unhoop that. And then slide our hoop down and start working on the next one. And y'all see now by me moving this design up in the hoop, I should be doing this for each one, especially when I'm working in this direction on my stabilizer. Okay. Ugh. Got it in there, and I'm just pressing into this a little bit, but nothing's going to get stitched on. Okay, so now this is ready to start the next one. Ugh, there we go. And y'all can see the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go home. Okay. Pull up my design on my USB stick. Let freedom ring. Set. Embroider. Layout. Move. Probably can only move this one up a little bit. That's it. Yeah. Okay. And then stitch the placement stitch for the batting. And let's see. The background quilting is also in cream again, but we have like a cream colored background fabric. A water soluble thread ready, but now we're going to go add the batting and the background fabric. Okay, there's my placement. Oops. I think I need a new glue stick, but I'll keep working with this one. Okay. And here's my batting, 6 by 8. Fits in there nicely. And then this is the background fabric that's already interfaced. And just lay that right on top. And then we have one piece of applique fabric I'm going to bring over to my machine. Put that on the side. And we're switching over to the water soluble thread for the basting stitch. Oh, it flipped up when I did that. Okay, let me stay here and make sure this goes how it's supposed to. And my stiletto ready. Okay. Okay, that's done. And now I switch back to the cream thread for the background quilting. It's that pretty floral design again, but it's going to blend in a lot with this one because it's the same color as the fabric. Okay, this block is going to take almost the same amount of time as the last block took. So for my friends that are watching live or in the chat, I need y'all to start thinking of some questions to ask me. So I got something to talk about. It could be embrilliance questions. It could be stabilizer questions, hooping questions, machine questions. Lay it on me. Because we don't want, I have to talk. I can't stand here and be quiet. It's not in me. see. I'm looking at the chat. Thank you. November would be great for a Christmas present. Yeah, for the book pillow. Eventually, I want to do red, white, and bloom too. My money is tied up in Kimberbell. I should buy stock. Same here, Linda. Same here. Oh, and Quilt, Trish says, I think I'm going to go spend some more money at Designs by Juju. I want to make some hooded towels. That's a good idea, too. It's been a really long time since I made a hooded towel. Those make great gifts for kids. Let's see, Carly, Joanna and I have decided what your November sip and stitch schedule should be. Thank you. All right, bye, Dee. Yay, I hope to see you on Friday too. Have a great day. Yeah, I love Designs by Juju too. I got to stop myself when I go there because she always has deals like spend this much money and you get the free things. And then I'm like, I don't need to spend that much money, but I want the free things. So then I spend that much money. Okay. Speaking of spending money, ooh, let me look and see. Oh, this is cute. Let's shop. How about we do that? Kimberbell, deal of the week. This is how I have purchased almost every Kimberbell project I have, with the exception of this one, because this one I pre-ordered, but it was discounted when I pre-ordered it. So that was good. But look, like this is the instant download, the carrots, that's cute. Felt cozies or that's not a koozie, so that must be a cozy for spring. We got mug rugs. We got mug rug embellishment kit. Oh, the little pinwheels are cute. And then this is the punch needle. I like punch needle stuff, but I don't need any of these things. But if you do, they're on sale right now at Kimberbell. Instant download, definitely. Okay, let's go see. Now we're talking about Designs by Juju. Let's see what she's got going on. I haven't looked at her website in a couple weeks. So here's the free gifts. Oh, look, see? This is where she gets me. Spend $35, spend $50, spend $6. Good Lord, no, I'm not spending that much money. Choose your free gift. So with any $30 purchase, you get to choose 3 designs for free. I want to do this. Shay, y'all know Crafting on a Dime with Shay. This thing. I can't pause it. But she's made those, and I like watching her make. I want to make one too. That's cute. Oh, this is something to talk about. So I have been using Sewing Machines Plus for years, and they have their own brand of stabilizer called Stay Perfect. Since Blaine has left, I don't know what's happened, but they are discontinuing the stabilizer. And then all the things that I normally buy from them, like tools and supplies and stuff, are never in stock. So I'm looking for new things. Stabilizer is one. So I still have a lot of Stay Perfect left, but I need to start collecting a new brand and something good to recommend to people who ask me what kind of stabilizer to buy, because now I can't tell them what I'm using because they don't sell it anymore. So what are your favorite stabilizers? And the only one I'm worried about, because every other stabilizer, like tearaway, cutaway, basic, you could probably use any brand. That is not super important. The one that gets me is polymesh. Some brands of polymesh will shrink when you wash it, and that's going to cause problems, especially like with your clothing, where after you wash and dry it, your applique or your design or whatever looks all wrinkly and whatever, and that's because the stabilizer shrunk. So I want to know if anyone has tried and tested a polymesh or a fusible polymesh from a different brand that you love and would recommend. And I'm going to go get some, and then I will recommend it to other people as well. Trish makes a great point. You can pre-wash your stabilizer. definitely. And that's what I tell people. Usually what I tell people to do is if you got some in and you're worried, you don't know, cut yourself 2 equal squares, like with your ruler, 2 6x6 inch squares, whatever. Throw one in the wash, leave one in your sewing area. Wash it and dry it with whatever load of laundry you're doing. Get it out and come compare it to your original 6-inch square and see if it shrunk. And if it didn't, you're good. If it did, then you may want to pre-wash that whole roll of stabilizer. I want to prevent doing that. But okay, let's go look at this. But yeah, I'm looking for a new brand. So I was looking at OESD. OESD I know is a good brand, and I know I can buy on Amazon, because that's another thing. Like, I'm the type of person that I'm like, oh crap, I need more stabilizer. I need it today or tomorrow. OESD has prime shipping. So that is good. All right. The next step is the applique for the little flag. So I'm just going to do it with the cream. And this is the placement stitch. And so let that go. It's really hard to see because I'm doing it in the same color as everything. But I think I got it. That should be more than enough. I can't really see where the placement line was at all, but it didn't seem like it went very far. So I got my piece of fabric, and now that's the tack down stitch. Okay, yeah, it did good. Fabric was big enough to mess me up from any misplacements. Okay. And now I could take this off and trim it. You are going to want to trim it because the next step is the lettering, Let Freedom Ring. And that's going to be, it's going to probably touch some of the areas where that excess fabric is. So I need to trim that. And this is the only applique for this whole block. Okay. Trim this up as close as you can. Pretty sure it has a satin outline, so it will cover all these raw edges. And then little red fuzzies happening, so let me get rid of those. Okay, back to the machine, and navy thread, and it will stitch all the wording, Let Freedom Ring, and that's going to take 15 minutes. So now we can really go talk about stabilizers and supplies. One other supply is my exquisite thread, but I did see that Blaine's new website on Stitch It International, they carry exquisite, but I think it's mostly the big giant cones. I have to look to see if they have the little cones too. Okay. I can also buy that directly from OESD's website because they bought Dime. So that's another option too, but they don't have it on Amazon, which I wish they did because then I can get it quicker. Okay, I am at my computer and now I can see your comments. Okay, Trish says she usually doesn't wash things that have stabilizer. I do a lot of clothing, so almost, you know, it's all going to get washed. And I'm lazy and I put it in the dryer too. So I use poly mesh a lot on clothing. All the girls, like when they were little, and when I make baby gifts, all of the onesies, the t-shirts, all of that, poly mesh is my favorite, and I like fusible poly mesh because then it doesn't move. because t-shirts are stretchy and thin. So let me go watch this real quick. Sorry. Oh, it did the thing again. It did the thing where it went off to the side. Let me cut this. I heard something, and there's no way it bumped anywhere. So this is nothing to do with my hoop bumping. This is something to do with it getting caught up underneath. Look what it did right there. See that? It skipped all those stitches, came out over here to the side, went back, went around. So it's nothing to do, the alignment's not getting messed up. It's something is not happy in the bobbin case, and it's causing these skip stitches and pulling and moving, and the bead dogs get pushed up. So I think it's really time for me to get my machine serviced. I don't see anything obvious. I don't see like no stray piece of thread causing trouble, because that's usually what it is. Something mechanism wise I think is happening here where things are not happy, or my bobbin case, I don't know. And this is something I'm always wary of. Like, I gotta make sure I put this bobbin case back in right, because there's been times where I've not, and the machine got very angry with me. And it's supposed to line up these two white dots. There we go. Now I know it's in there right. And redo my bobbin. Pull it through before I cut it, so set the tension. Okay, everything's done, but now I gotta go fix. And this mess up is not as easy to fix with last class's mess up, because that was an applique. I could just applique right over it. This time it's all stitches. So I really have to figure out, but we're using my seam ripper. Let's see. And these are super tight stitches. So I think I'm just going to shoot for getting this little blue line here. So the satin stops right here. It is a bit off, but it stops here. I'm hoping I can back up and it's stitch and it won't look out of place. But this little blue line right here is completely out of place and noticeable. And of course, it's like the darkest thread on the lightest fabric. And it's like super tightly stitched. So close together. Pad. Nope, not this one. Where's the pad that fits this hoop? I had it the other day. I don't know where I put it. Oh well. I have one of those pads that fit right in the hoop, so I can put pressure and not have to worry. So here's a random blue thread underneath. So that might have been what caused the problem to happen. I see like little knots of blue thread. I really need that pressing pad, because I gotta push on this. Okay, Carly, if I were a pressing pad, where would I put me? Not with the other pressing pads. That makes way too much sense. Do I see it? Did it fall back? Aha! I did put it with the other pressing pads, like I should have. This is it. If I were actually pressing with an iron, I would take the plastic off, but I'm not. So at least I did actually put it where it would make sense to put it. It just fell back behind everything. Dude, I can't even get this. Okay, hopefully that released something so that I can pull it out in the front now. This is so tedious. And if I had extra of this fabric, I could start over, but I don't think that I do. They gave you like a half a yard, I think, of this fabric, and you use pretty much the whole thing. I could just use another fabric though, but I'm not. It's just like two little tiny strands that don't want to let me pull them out. And again, the stitching is so tight, it went through the stabilizer. I'm about to cut through the... Just be careful not to get all the way to the front. Sorry, y'all can't fast forward through this if you're live. If you're watching the replay, fast forward. And I'm about to get to a point where I give up and it's just going to have a blue line there. And that's going to be okay. Because no one is going to care except me. No one's going to notice except me. Okay, I give up. So, sorry, I couldn't even see most of that. I don't know if it's going to focus, but that little blue line, I just can't get the stitching undone. So, I'm going to live with it. And just back up my stitching. And it will just not look good in that one spot, but it'll be okay. All right, so I'm backing up stitches, -10, till I get all the way back, pretty much till the beginning of this L. Right there looks okay. Let me lower my needle and see where it hits. It looks about right. Okay. it's just going to stitch on top. I'm just going to watch it. So something similar happened. It seems to be all the writing ones, especially. Something similar happened in class number 2 with the Land That I Love, I think it was block. Something happened with the writing like that. It did the same thing. It like skipped stitches and traveled. Something to do with a weird thread in the bobbin case, or even like in this case, I think it was just a thread tail underneath this hoop that got caught up with the stitching and made it angry and do that. So the solutions would be to really try to pick that out, which I could try later now that that is done. Leave it alone or restitch. And I don't want to restitch. So we're just going to let it go and keep our fingers crossed it don't happen again. And I can't stand there and babysit it and see the computer at the same time. So step away and just listen. Okay. Sherry makes a good point. Do I have a spare bobbin case? I probably do. Maybe I can try that. Let's see. Trish says, I don't do clothing. That would require sewing skills, and I don't have those. I don't sew any clothing whatsoever. I buy shirts from Walmart. And Hobby Lobby and Amazon. That's where I get shirts from. Like this. Where's my shirt? Here it is. This is a Comfort Colors is a brand t-shirt. I don't do anything. I just applique it. So t-shirt from the store, Hobby Lobby or Amazon. Easy peasy. I don't think it's a problem with digitizing. Kimberbell is so thorough with their designs, their instructions, and everything. I think it's definitely my machine in this case. Let's see. Let's watch. The rest of it looks like it's stitched right. Let's see how this goes now. Just listening. So Joanne says, how can you pre-wash fusible stabilizer? So it should not wash off. Now I have had clothing that I have made from when the girls were little and washed and washed and washed and washed, and the poly mesh doesn't come off. But the fusible interfacing, the soft stuff I put on the back of the embroidery, like on the inside of the shirt, so that the threads and the stabilizer don't rub against the kid's skin, that stuff tends to come off over time. And I think the main culprit on that one is the dryer, but I can put an iron to it and it will reactivate right away. So I don't think the wash will mess anything up. But I've washed and dried poly mesh a million times that is on clothing and no troubles. Linda asks, does anyone washed Hot Fix? I've never used Hot Fix, so I don't know. But if anyone else has, please let Linda know. All right, so Pearl Creation says, I use Floriani and Exquisite and have been using those for years. Their stabilizer, that's a good idea. I should have remembered that Exquisite makes stabilizer. And like I said, they're all probably great and fine and no issues. The one that I'm really interested in is the poly mesh. That's the one I'd like to know, because there's been ones I bought off of Amazon before that did shrink. And the Stay Perfect one did not shrink. So that's why I like that one. And here's a question. Has anyone tried Designs by Juju's stabilizer? It almost looks like it's the same exact. Now, this is something somebody else has told me as well. There are only so many stabilizer manufacturers. Like, there's only so many actual places that make stabilizer, and then they just put different labels on them depending on the company selling them. So Designs by Juju stabilizer may be the exact same stabilizer that comes from where OESD and Kimberbell, and even Stay Perfect. Like, there are only so many manufacturers. So I'm sure they're all made in the same spot and then put a different label on it. But Designs by Juju has stabilizers now, but I don't know if she has fusible. So this is poly mesh here, magic mesh. Let's see if they got a fusible option. No, there's no options. Magic note. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think she has a fusible option. So lots of pop-ups. Lots of cute designs. Oh, look at this. There's a Star Spangled Stitches instead of Beauty. They have that project. That's fun. And it comes in sets. If y'all want to do, if y'all aren't doing Kimberbell and want to do that, that looks pretty simple. They're all done. It looks like all the squares are the same size. And then you would just piece them together. Okay. Right, Linda. Some machines that are sewing and embroidery will come with two different bobbin cases. One is particular for embroidery, one is particular for regular sewing. And we need to check our manual to know which one is which. What did John Deere say about the stabilizer manufacturers? There are only a couple of them. Yeah. Oh, John Deere is also teaching at the summit that I'm teaching at next week. Trish. Yeah, I bought that. Why? Because I can't stop. I love it. That's so cute. Okay, let me double check. All of these letters are stitching out appropriately. I wish I could use my Tide pen and just like erase that spot. And this is like, this is so small too. Like, even if I had one of those like Peggy stitch erasers, it wouldn't touch that. It wouldn't do anything. It would get all my other stitches out that I don't want to get out. That's what it would do. Okay, that's looking good. We're almost halfway through stitching this block. Yay, Joanna signed up for the summit. Yay. And Joanna got the Star Spangled bundle from Designs by Juju. She says tons of options. Sewing is definitely cheaper than therapy. Definitely. Oh, not according to Trisha's husband. Have y'all seen those cute things like on Facebook and Instagram where it's someone says, I told my husband I signed up for therapy. It's $150 a session, and I go once a week. And it's the lady walking into TJ Maxx or Home Goods or something like that. So that would be us, like when we had a your local quilt shop, or staying at our computer and shopping online. Oh, there's a good one for therapy and divorce, because that is expensive. Yeah, Trish says that's her in her quilt store. Definitely. Love it. So cute. Okay. Now hopefully we can maybe talk about things and my machine won't get mad at me while we talk. So after that little fiasco, what are some other things y'all want to talk about? Or I could also like open up Embrilliance and answer questions on there too, so let me know. Two Chicks Quilting is selling fabric kits for Juju's Patriotic Blots. There you go, fabric kit. Love a good fabric kit. Same here. Same. Oh, and Linda's like another obsession. The two chicks quilting. Yes. Yes. Keep watching. I really want to watch it when it does the R and ring, because it seems like it's all these curvy letters that it ends up being the problem on. The last letter for freedom, and then it will stitch out ring, and then we will move on to the next step. And the next step is the flag satin outline. So I need my maroon color. So I'm going to get that ready and put it on my spool holder. And then we need mint for leaves. Then we need light blue for some flowers. Then we need like royal blue for more flowers. And then we need pink for the bow. Okay. So I got, these are my color changes after the maroon bit here. Okay. Carly can only save me so much. She cannot teach me to pick fabrics. I am not, I find I am not the great at picking fabrics. That is like a born with skill, I think. Oh, love this. She says, my husband wants to know what I bought him. I tell him I bought him a happy wife. Love it. All right, I'm watching the R. Because it's those really tight satin stitches, I think, is making my machine angry. I got just spots on this, like right here. You see how skinny those are, and then it gets wider. It's those skinny spots That seems to be where my problems start. I definitely don't think it's the digitizing. It's something with my machine. And it just not being happy right there. Okay, got around that loop, no problem. And they even have cutouts in the digitizing for that loop it just did, so that it's not too dense. And that piece right here, they have little holes so that everywhere where it goes and stitches again on top, there's not stitching underneath so that it doesn't get too dense. But it's digitized really well. Okay. We'll see if it keeps behaving. Oh, Joanna, your husband and my husband must be related. Hunts fishes and orders more shoes than a woman. Yeah, he's got a tennis shoe problem, and I wear like the same tennis shoes for 2 years. And he's got a variety. Love it. Oh, yay. Good job, Linda. That is a major accomplishment. Yes. Awesome. Okay. What other shopping can we do? I'm trying to think of what else. So let's go look at let me go look. No, that's not it. This is what I wanted to go look at. But let's go look at thread. So Stitch It International, that's where Blaine works now. They have a store. It's stitchitintl.com. And they sell thread. And what I wanted to check, this was something we talked about in my class yesterday. They have the fine line exquisite. Let me see. They do. They have the, no, that's 40 weight. That's not what I meant. They only have the big cones of exquisite. It looks like the 5,000 meter. I usually get the 1,000 meter, and the 1,000 meter is like $3.50. So I really do better buying the 5,000 one because I get more bang for my buck and I won't run out of thread. And you can get the whole color chart as well. So that's nice. But they have all the exquisite thread. They have some of them are sold out, not most of them, like on Sewing Machines Plus, but black and white is sold out. So that sucks. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that. That's might be where I'm gonna buy my thread from now. But yeah, the only caveat is they don't sell the small spools. Okay, next step is the outline on the little flag. Doing that with the maroon color. And there's only about 5 minutes left of stitching, so we just got to change some thread colors, and then we'll finally be done. Okay. Hi, Renee. Oh yeah, Elsa said sweet pea. I love sweet pea. I have a bunch of their stuff. I've only stitched out some of it. Some of it also gets intimidating for me because they have like multi-hoop projects of like bags and stuff, and they seem complicated. So I bought them and then I didn't make them. Let's see. Yeah, same. Linda's the same. Blaine went to Stitch It International. That's where he's at now. So yeah, just Google Stitch It International. And they have like a main page with like the machines and stuff, and then they have a store page with like all the supplies and everything. Yay, Renee, you have the same machine? It's really, really great. I love this machine. Except when it does things like this, which I don't know why. But I'm sure it's something my fault. All right, so almost done stitching this maroon, and then we have some tiny mint colored leaves we're going to stitch next. So I got my mint thread on my spool holder. Oh, that's some kind of pole. Okay, I was like, what is it doing now? It's on like a pole that it's on. Okay. Mint is next. And after mint is light blue. I'll load that. There is a tail that I don't like. I need to move a little further. Okay. Nope, still. Getting all caught up. Okay. So that tail went under all three of those leaves. So it looks like there's a line going from one to the next, which I was trying to prevent. Okay, done with mint. Now moving to light blue. And after this is going to be the royal blue color. one more little light blue flower, and then the royal blue is going to be the little center dot on each of those flowers. Okay. And again, it's digitized, so there's a hole in the middle, so it's not too dense. And the next color, and the final color after this is the pink. And I think it's the darker pink, but now I should probably double check. Pink. Yeah, the darker pink. Bubblegum. It's dense right there. That I was going to say that I have one flower that doesn't look like it really has much of a hole, and you could tell it was fighting to go through there. And there was some, look at that, nesting happening there that causes trouble. So yeah, there's a bit of a nest right there. So be careful at that spot when you're stitching. It does get a little too dense. Okay, final stitch is a little pink bow. It might be a little dense right here too. But I think it's just dense. Hopefully that's the problem, not. Because it's going right on top of the satin stitching. Nope. Something's not happy. Let me cut it. I could cheer it. Okay. Is it locked up? Yeah. There is. It's doing the same thing it did before. See that? Nesting. It's all the top threads going on the bottom, which means yes, there's definitely some thread down in here that should not be. There's the last stitch, machine. Couldn't just let me finish it. There's one piece of thread, guys. One. Oh no, camera. Why'd the camera go away? Ah, sorry. How long was that like that for? Why is my camera not happy? They turn it off. Turn it back on. Now you see? Now you see. Okay. So, sorry. I don't know how long the camera was out for. Let me know how long it was out for. But what had happened was this little blue dot on top of the light blue flower is a dense spot. There was supposed to be a hole there, but it barely was, and it started doing this. You see that nest tap, that little bulge? And then I started to stitch the bow, and the bow's got to go through this maroon stitching, and that got very angry, and look at all this happened on the back. Can you see? Focus, focus, focus. This guy. Look at all that nonsense happening. So I'm going to try to cut that out. And I took my needle plate off, and I see literally one little piece of pink thread that is the culprit for all of this. And it's right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that one piece of pink thread, that is my problem. It's crazy how these things happen. And I think I see something else. Yep, there's two pieces. There's this little piece too. And don't see anything else, but do a quick little wipey swipe. Check under the bobbin case. Okay. So my bobbin, this bobbin case has a green dot on it, so I'm guessing the green dot is the embroidery one. I can see if I have another one. Okay, make sure that's in there good. Pull that bobbin thread through. And now on the back of this guy, I'm gonna go to my table and put my little mat down. Probably a new needle wouldn't hurt. Yes. I can't remember when I changed the needle last on there. That probably would not hurt. Oops. I'm just gonna cut the bulk of this off without trying to cut any of my other stitches for the flag, you know. So I'm gonna stitch over this again, and I don't want to make it angry with how dense it is. Okay, got most of that out of the way. Let me check the front. So really tight satin stitching, but because I cut a lot of the back out, I probably can pull it up. Again, I'm trying not to mess up the maroon stitches. Okay, I think that's about good. Got some more. Maybe I'm not done. Okay. I think I did decent here. Very decent. Much better than I did on the blue one. When I was trying to get this one out, I didn't get nearly as much as what I got out here. But that was because they had that big old wad on the back, and when I cut it, that loosened things up. Now, suck all these little guys up. Little tiny vacuum. Love that thing. Okay, let's go back and try this again. And maybe I will change my needle. because it does not hurt. Okay, what's in here? Oregon. That's a 9014. This is a 9014. This is a 7511, Oregon. Okay. And I need my little tiny screwdriver. So with a needle change, you just have to unscrew where the needle bar is. Put that somewhere. Okay. These needles are flat back. So they have a flat side. You want that to go to the back. And I usually like poke the needle through the foot so I can get down low. And then go straight up. And you probably can't see, but right here where my blue stiletto is pointing, you should be able to see the top of your needle. There is a metal bar that's stopping it from pushing it up any further. You want to be able to see the top of your needle and see that it touches that bar. And hold that in place while you tighten that little screw that holds your needle in. Okay. All the maintenance. Okay, everybody keep the fingers crossed that we can finish stitching this bow with no hiccup. All right, needles threaded, I cleaned my bobbin, cleaned all this. I need to back up to the beginning of the bow step. Cross. Okay, sounds much better than it did before. You could definitely hear the change in things when it was starting to nest. Like you could hear it, like all kind of noises. You get to know your machine and the sounds that it makes, and when it sounds off. And it was definitely off. Okay. All right. Finally, we are done. And let's see, back up. And now you can see, oops, what did I drop? Pick that up. Our finished block. All right. So sorry again about the video going out. It's always something. If it's not my machine messing up, it's my cameras. Technical things. Okay, so this is all done. This looks good. My only hiccup was this, and I'm gonna let it go, and I'm not gonna worry about it. So that is gives it character. And this is our block we did before, so we can unhoop this. Boop. And if I was stitching another one, I could just move my stabilizer line down and hoop right here. But because I want to show y'all trimming and everything, I'm going to go ahead and trim my stabilizer. This would give me definitely another hoopin or some 5x7 hoopins. Separate these two guys. So we have that, and we are going to dissolve the water-soluble basting stitch with some water. I'm going to turn my iron on. Need more water in my bottle. Okay, that one. My water bottle is only liking if I'm holding it upright because it barely has water in the bottom. Okay, so we let that sit, and I usually rub it a little bit, make sure it dissolves. And you don't have to wait long at all, and then you should be able to turn it over and grab the bobbin thread and it pull right out. So bobbin thread done. Same here. Bobbin thread. And now I will press both of them, and I will get my orange pop rulers and trim them. I'll start on the back. So this one is going to get trimmed 6.5 by 8.5 inches. And I have an orange popper ruler that fits that perfectly. And the other one's going to get stitched 6.5 by 6.5, stitched, trimmed 6.5, 6.5. And in my square set, I think I have a ruler that fits that perfectly. You could also just use your normal quilting ruler and quilt a 1/4 inch away from your batting stitch placement line. I don't have any specialty materials on here, so I'm not too worried. Yeah, this one was absolutely pointless of pre-quilting. It's barely poking out on the sides here. We did not have to add any background quilting to this one. If anything, it would have been pretty if they had some quilting built into the design to fill the white space. That would have been pretty. Y'all could see the stitch line where the batting was. That's where you cut like a 1/4 inch away from there if you don't have orange pop rulers. Okay. So I'm going to grab my rotating cutting mat and make sure I can rotate it. I like to use the back as a guide because I can really see that outline stitch of the batting stitch. Let's see, that doesn't look right. This looks right. 6.5 by 6.5. So there you go. I am just centering this with the design. I can see the top and bottom where the puncture marks were of the basting stitch that I took out, and I can use that as a guide. Since I adjusted the basting stitch in Embroidery, I can't use those, but I'm just eyeballing it. And once I like it, I start on the left-hand side and run my ruler my cutting blade around the ruler, rotating the mat so that I'm not moving anything, just the mat is moving. I think I did all of them. Yeah. And so you can just pull it right out, and there we go. There's your finished block. So that's that one. And now here's Let Freedom Ring. This one uses a bigger ruler. And just center your design. And cut. And then you have your 6x8 block. So 6.5 by 8.5 when it's finished, but when we sew it, it's built-in seam allowance. All right, so there are our 2 blocks for today's class. Try to get it in there so we take a picture. Get my phone so I can take a picture. But yeah, give me a little bit of a headache today, but very cute. I really like this one. I just wish we could see some of the background quilting some more. All right, so that is it for today's class. And I will not be having a sew along class this Friday. I will be having a sip and stitch tutorial. And so we'll take a step away from the quilt, and we're gonna applique a t-shirt, or you can do a sweatshirt as well. And I'll be showing you how to do this step by step on my big machine, but this project can be made on any machine. Your limitation is just your hoop size. So if you only have a 5x7 hoop, you would have to stitch a much smaller section. So maybe you can do a cute design meant to be like a upper left chest logo pocket situation. You can do just one letter, and it could be an initial. So it all depends on your machine, but this project can be done on any machine, what I'm going to show you. Other than that, I will be back Monday for the sew along. Let's see what we're doing Monday. Monday is going to be fun because this whole quilt could be made in a 5x7 hoop, but there are some blocks that are large, and Kimberbell has already split those designs for us so that one half is going to fit in one block, the other half is going to fit in another block. And when we sew those blocks together, it's going to look like one thing. And so Monday is going to be one of those, and that is the vase and vase flowers. So the flowers coming out as one block, and then the vase itself. And when you sew them together, they will look like it's all connected. So that's going to be fun. And we are doing that on Monday, April 27th at 10 a.m. Central Time. All right, so that's all for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope to see you back on Friday for Sip and Stitch, and then next Monday to keep working on this quilt. All right, everyone, take care. Have a great rest of your day.